Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Impossible Mowers. In today's video, this is the video that you've all been waiting for. I've been getting comments after comments about this upcoming video that I've been talking about, and here it is. Today's video, we are going to be doing the tune-up on this motor and diagnosing a lot of problems, starting with the not running right problem. I'll call it that. It's misfiring on multiple cylinders. We even plugged in off camera an OBD2 port sensor or computer, and you know, you plug into the OBD2 port and it tells you what it's throwing for code, and it was telling us that we had multiple cylinder misfire, which is caused by three things. You have your coil pack. If your coil pack's old and it's not throwing the right amount of spark into the cylinders, it's not going to be sparking, it's going to be misfiring. Case number two, there's really bad gas, which is something I think I'm leaning more towards, because guys, this has been sitting for 4 freaking years with a quarter tank of gas. Okay, now we drained most of that on our way back, but we didn't drain all of it. So misfiring from old fuel, it's most likely the case, but there's a third problem here, and you guys say what you will, but it's a fact, and it happens with these motors, and it even happens with the motors today. There are oxygen sensors, 4 of them placed in this engine bay. You got 2 near the motor and you got 2 near the transmission. On both of them are on the exhaust. Now what that does is it tells the computer to put in a certain amount of air to fuel mixture so that the vapors coming out are clean vapors. Now this is just a way for Ford to make it more cleaner for the environment, or I mean, that's at least from what I took away from it. If you guys know more than that, please hit me up in the comments. I'm sure there's more to it than that. But you know, I'm not a Ford expert here. You guys have seen my lot. We work on mostly GM stuff, but I figured why not take the task of a Ford. Now with that being said, if your sensors are down, or even a sensor is down, it's going to cause your motor to run very rich. You heard me, rich. And that's actually what we experienced with this before it got retired. We saw the we saw that the spark plugs were really messed up. I mean, I'm not talking piston the spark plug, I'm talking signs of richness, which is really fouled out plugs, pitch black, as if it was on choke the whole time. Now, this can be caused from many things other than the sensor. You know, I described some of them from you guys today, but coil pack will not do that. Just remember, you guys, all this puppy does is give spark to your cylinders. Okay, that's it. And apart from spark, it's just communicating back to the computer, hey, we're sparking, we're good to go. Now, if any of these fail on you, like I said before, that's going to cause a cylinder misfire, because one cylinder is not, it's not producing spark. It's not going to combust, or it's not combusting enough, so you will have a cylinder down. Now, for today's video, I got a certain amount of parts for this tune-up purposely, because I don't think it's these coils, okay? Because we had these changed out before we retired it, but you never know. So to diagnose that today, we've got brand new, it says set of 4 right here, but I got 2 others right here, these 2. Brand new V6 NGK spark plugs. These are a really good brand. Check these out. If you're going to do a tune-up kit, do it with these spark plugs. We've had nothing but good luck with these, and they're well made. So we've got spark plugs. We've got an oil filter. Now, this is interesting. Usually when you do a tune-up, you want to do an oil change, and I do plan on doing an oil change on this rig, but I cannot do the oil change on camera for a specific reason. The reason being, I simply just don't have enough oil. The oil store, I went over to the O'Reilly's I went over that's nearest to me, did not, for the first time in history, did not have all 6 quarts that I was looking for. Although these motors run 5 quarts, I always tell you guys, and it's true, it's a fact, always make sure you get 6 quarts, because when you fill this oil filter up, it's going to lower that oil level by a little bit, and you need that 6th quart to kind of top it off, if you will. You don't have to, but it's just nice to know you're putting in the right amount of oil and you're doing it on a level ground. And that's the other problem. The level ground here is not the best. I mean, look where we're standing. The vehicle is actually more toward driver than it is passenger, because this is a leaned outside. Now, sure, I could put it on this stretch of driveway. There's actually a nice flat spot over there, but it's too much right now. And even if I wanted to get it over there, I got to have the motor running good first. So this is going to actually wait. Whether I'm going to do this on video or not, I might just do a short on it, if anything, because I haven't had very good luck with oil changes on camera, guys. I mean, if you've seen my oil changes, I think the only good oil change I did on camera fully was with the Cub Cadet, but the square body, the camera cut out, and the pool on the camera cut out, which I fixed that problem, but it's a long story. So we've got that, and of course, we got a brand new air filter. This is a stock air filter. I was gonna order off of K&N, but I figured to myself, why spend the money on performance parts if A, it's not needed, but B, the performance part, I mean, guys, if I spent 60, 70, even $100 on a whole K&N air intake set, that's great and all, but it's not, it may not even fix my problem. So I want to make sure I'm getting stuff that's going to fix my problem first, and then down the road upgrade. That's just the way I think. I mean, it's not necessary to think like that, but I'm just trying to save money where I can, but save money in the right spots. Stuff like engine stuff, you do not want to be going cheap on. This filter was about 30 bucks. Okay, this is, I mean, it's an air filter. It's a classic OEM 2004 Ford Explorer air filter for this motor. Now, with all that said and done, guys, a famous thing with these Fords, and you know, you guys comment what you will, whether you like this video, whether you like this Ford or not, I really don't care, because there are problems with these Fords that a lot of other vehicles today have even worse problems with. Okay, one of the problems is, and I don't know if they still have them with today's vehicles, but they did back in the day with a lot of vehicles. You have this air pocket, right? This is where your air filter goes. This is your intake system, okay? Now, there are sensors you'll see here, and there should be another one. I don't see it. Anyways, if there is dirt, or in my case, mouse debris being sucked up by the motor, it's going to clog up that sensor, and it's not going to make the vehicle run right. Now, is it going to cause the problems it was causing before? No. And I'll tell you why. This thing, it's got a big problem, and it's not too bad, but it's bad enough for me to call it bad. When you go on the gas, it's got no power, but when you give it just a little more barely foot to the floor, it's got everything, which tells me we've got a huge throttle delay, obviously. And that's part of today's video, guys. We're gonna be trying to figure in this stuff out. Hopefully we can end the video with a satisfied motor. I mean, I'd like it to be a good running motor, and of course I'm still gonna buy a new power pack for it, coil pack. It's just me. I'd rather just make sure it's just out of my way, just boop, out of my way. But I'd like to leave today knowing this motor is gonna be running well, but I'm gonna tell you guys, I do not know. I could do all this work and then just find out, yeah, it's the bad fuel. And we are going to drain the fuel tank, obviously off camera, because there is no way I'm going to have permissions to film at a garage, and I'm not doing that. But enough chat. I'm going to start with the easiest thing first, which is the air filter. We're going to change that puppy out. We're going to do the plugs, and some point down the road, probably another YouTube short, we're going to drain the coolant system and just flush it out. A lot of you guys were asking me, and I didn't really answer you, but I'm going to give you your answer now, how to properly flush a coolant system. There are many ways, and they're different ways for each vehicle, but they're pretty much... Alrighty guys, I figure I'd do a little finger snap here and show you guys some magic. So 3, 2, 1. Boom! All cleaned up. Now, I could get in here with a sponge and get really nitty gritty about it, but I mean, we're going to be off-roading with this rig, and we're going to be testing it out. It's going to get its fair share of testing, so I'm not really nitpicky about it. I got most of the big stuff, like the mouse nest, small little mouse nest, got that all out. So I mean, for me, it's just not that big of a deal. The biggest deal is what's inside here, which is pretty clean. Now I'm gonna open this oil filter, air filter. Yeah, come on, wake up. This is surprisingly a pretty big filter, but I've seen bigger. Now while I'm opening this up, I will say, yes, I read you guys' comments. Oh, the frame looks bad, what do you mean? And you know what, guys? If you haven't been to New England, you should really check it out, okay? Because every vehicle looks like this vehicle up here. I kid you not. Every single vehicle, from new to old, they look just like this frame, if not even worse. There are people around this area that drive pickup trucks with the frame snapped so far, like it's so far snapped in half, that they jack them up, take pieces of freaking plywood, bolt them into the frame just to keep them level. Like, that's how bad it is up here. All right, so I don't want to hear this frame looks bad, all right? It's the way it is up here. Now, yes, I did wish I had a frame quite like the square body. Even though the square bodies looks rusty, that is a solid frame. I mean, I don't have a vehicle around here besides my my brother's 2500 that is that clean as that one. But I mean, for a daily rig to off-road on and have a little fun with, this frame is just fine. You know what I mean? I'm not going all the way out to, I don't know, Alaska with this thing, so it's not that big of a deal. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Just make sure. All right. Yep. Boom. There she is. Gotta check. Yep, no, that's clean in there. Yep. Always gotta make sure, because remember what I was telling you guys, that sensor, there's a, I don't know if it's called the mass airflow sensor. I don't know. They got different names for these sensors in here. But like I said, I'm a GM guy. You know, I don't worship GM. I just say that I have more experience with them. But I figured, why not, for the first time, tackle a Ford? Because I don't like to talk out of my ass. I like to talk from experience, and the only way to get that experience is to do it yourself. So you always got to make sure that that sensor is clean, but also the wires. You can see this wiring here. What is really common, and it happens with almost every V6 4.0 that I've seen, even in the Rangers, is you got this little wire right here that is on your tubing there, and it tends to go inside the filter like that. See how it's caught in there? I don't know if you guys can see that. Make sure you push that out as far as you can with one hand, and then try to set the filter in with the second hand. Okay, because you see how these filters have these little prongs, these little clips. They got to clip in. I think that's in there. Nope. Oh, just heard it click. Yep. Okay, it's in there. You can see the wiring is now, it's free, which is good. All right, looking nice, looking good. So we got the air filter done. Mark that off the checklist. Now, of course, guys, a tune-up isn't just oil, air filters, spark plugs. You know, I know you guys know there's coil filters, Jesus Christ. There are coil plugs involved. There's other stuff to a regular average tune-up, but what I got in the mail so far is good enough to at least see what happens. I mean, come on, guys. Those plugs look pretty freaking easy to get to. I'm seeing these four look decently okay. Sorry, bleh. Why am I saying four? These three. But these three, I don't know. I guess they're not too bad. Get an extension right in there. Let's do that. So I'm gonna get right back to you guys. I'm gonna grab my tools, my socket wrench, and all that stuff in there. Ooh, I didn't see that. Huh. Well, I'll be dipped. I guess there's clips on here. Guess you learn something new every day. Okay, one clip, two clip. I just caught that with my eye. I was kind of wondering, why is there only just these tabs? Like, that doesn't seem like really secure connection. Like, come on, Ford. And I just saw these clips here, so I'm probably not putting these on right, but it's whatever. Okay, let me get my tools. I'll get back to you guys when we start slapping those new spark plugs in. And this is also going to be pretty important, because you guys all know spark plugs is one of the best ways to tell what's going on in that motor. Is it pitch black? Is it bent? Are we having piston to spark plug connection? Which I know we don't, but you never know. Like, a spark plug tells you what's going on in that cylinder. because those spark plugs are living in there. So I'm pretty interested to see what we got going on in there. So let me stop talking and get those tools. Alrighty guys, now automatically the first thing I love about, I just felt like I had to tell you guys about working on the cars, any car really, is they always got at least one spot where you can place a camera. Okay, ow, that hurt. All right. Yeah, no, I love how you can place a camera pretty much anywhere. Battery post, computer. This one's got a really tiny computer box. It's right here. It's pretty cute. All right, now how am I gonna get in here? I guess I can just... All right, that's too long of an extension. Shorten that puppy up a few inches. Make sure we're on the loosening stroke, which we aren't. Now we are. All right, see what we can do in here. Actually, you know what I should do first? See if this is even the right socket. Ah, it is. Okay. Now let's get in here and see what's going on. Come on, baby. Okay, that is not the right socket. Something's not right. I thought that was the same one we used before. It's alright, we got a whole bunch here. Bruh. Ain't no way. Okay. Jesus. I was about to say, there's no way it's that small. I mean, it's gotta be a standard spark plug. Okay, let's see what we got. Alright, she's coming out. Not gonna lie, I'm a little worried because I know this vehicle's passed, and I also know when a vehicle runs rich for a long time, I mean, it's better rich than lean, but it's just not the healthiest for the motor. I have no idea how much carbon buildup is in these cylinders. While I'm, doing this job right here, I'll tell you guys, if you've ever heard the expression better rich than lean, or the fact better rich than lean, that's because when an engine's lean, it's not getting enough air to fuel. So it's not getting enough of everything, really, except for compression, obviously. And so when an engine runs too lean, what happens is over time, the cylinder gets a little more hot than it should. And I've actually seen this firsthand too. Not with any of my rigs, but with other people's rigs. And you can melt a piston, blow a hole through your piston. Basically the piston, it doesn't like it. The motor doesn't like it. And it does a lot of damage. It can destroy your motor. Not in that second. It does take time, but I have seen motors where it does it a little more sooner than expected. So you always want to make sure you're running, you really want to run that motor nice, but if you're running it rich, be thankful, because running it lean will destroy your motor. That is a fact. All right, that's with every motor too. That's not just with this motor. That's V8, V12, you name it. Anything that causes combustion, if it's running lean, get that fixed. Okay, come on, baby. All right. It's tricky to catch that spark plug. I don't want it landing on the frame. Okay. Whew. Thank goodness. All right, guys. Here's what our spark plug looks like. and it looks pretty good. Hell of a gap, I gotta say. But I don't know, once again. Now, I'm not a Ford expert here, okay? But that's pretty good. I mean, that's not the best, but you'll see there's rust right here. That's typical rust. You're gonna find that at any motor in the world that's been exposed to any kind of corrosive, you know, stuff, right? Or water. Now, I know this is rust, this isn't corrosion, but when water gets built up in the pockets, it's got nowhere to go except for out. And because the spark plug does its job, keeping the cylinder plugged up and providing it spark, it just rusts away the plug. Now, what's dangerous about this is if you use an impact on this kind of stuff, you could risk breaking the plug. I've seen old motors like 350s, 454s, just motors, or even just a motor in general, sitting for years, like 20 plus years, with a rusty spark plug. It is not famous for those plugs to either strip or break because of the rust. But you can see here, it is not pitch black, which tells me what's happening in this cylinder isn't bad. It's a little bit there, that's just classic. It looks fine. I said hell of a gap, but I mean, I don't know. What you can do, guys, and I'm gonna bring it to you right now, is compare your old spark plug to your new spark plug and check out the gap. So we can see here, this is the new spark plug, this is the old spark plug. And you can see this one's just a little wider. But not by much. They're pretty much, yeah, no, this one's just a little wide. But if you ever see the tip like this beaten down and you see score marks, that means your piston's been having contact. And let me just say, you might want to get that looked at, because if a piece of the spark plug ends up in your cylinder, it's going to score the hell out of your bore, and you're going to be looking at one hell of a repair. But this isn't bad. There's nothing here that tells me the motor is unhealthy. It's just a classic spark plug we're looking at here. Now, if it was pitch black, that would tell me I'm running rich. And if it was, good Lord, if it was rusty or had like a whole coating of rust, I'd be really scared, because that tells me that there's water in the cylinders. But I'm not seeing any of that here. This just looks like an average spark plug, average run of the mill. Which is good. Which is very good. So, you guys know the drill. Never do these with an impact. I mean, you know what? I say that, but go ahead, try it for yourself. See what happens. But if you strip these threads to the plugs, you're done. You're cooked. Because trying to get those retapped, it's just not good. Okay. I'll thread that puppy on. I like doing it by hand. Alrighty, guys, I just finished this whole set, and there's no sign of it running rich or lean. Surprisingly, that actually looks quite perfect. Now, one thing I was telling you guys about is, and I actually forgot, right? Your spark plug is healthy, and I should say that differently. Your spark plug can give you a lot of information, right? If you take a plug like this, you can do many things. You can look at it, you smell it. What are you smelling? Are you smelling burnt oil? Are you smelling good gas, bad gas? There's so much you can tell from a spark plug from what's happening inside your motor, because once again, this is the little guy that's in there. He's experiencing all that stuff, so it's always good to look at that. Now, a good way to tell whether your plug is running rich or lean, if you guys ever seen a spark plug chart, I'll put that up right on the screen here, and you could really see the difference of plugs and what they were to look like if they were rich or lean. Now, if it was to be running rich, you can see it'd be all pitched black here, even on the I forgot what they called that. Basically this whole plug would be pitch black, or maybe even a glossy black, right? This one I'm seeing a little bit right here. You can see a little bit on the edges here, but I'm not seeing it on inside the plug, which tells me it's running pretty good in there. Maybe it's running a little bit rich by like a smidge, but it's not bad. Okay, if this was all pitched black, you know it's running rich. Oh my goodness. Now if you took out an old plug and you saw that the threads and everything looked like this, but the inside right in here looked brand new like this, you're running lean. And you can tell it's running lean because if it's not combusting enough, it's not creating enough of that explosion, if you will. So you're going to end up with a cleaner plug than a dirtier plug, because a dirtier plug is going to tell you there is a good amount of air and fuel. There may even be too much air and fuel, but either way it is combusting and it is causing an explosion, which is making it dirty, and that is what tells you your rich or lean factor. Now this one, like I said, it's a little rich. You can see right around these rings here, this ring, it's a little bit of a glossy black, but I mean, if you look at the chart and put it against this plug right here, it's not bad. It's not pitch black, and it's actually looking pretty healthy. You know, every now and then your motor's going to have a little bit of richness to it, and if you don't want that, it's all about tuning it up a bit, making sure you're putting in good gas, making sure you're putting in the right amount of stuff to make sure that your motor is running efficiently. And you know, that's pretty much it, guys. Now I will say that these plugs, they're obviously old, and we haven't done a plug change on this motor from what I can remember in a long time. So I mean, for it to be running like this, it's good news for me. Tells me the motor is pretty happy. It's not the happiest camper, but it's happy enough to where it's not telling me it's running lean or rich. So it's pretty good. And another thing to check for is, you know, check for oil in here. If you're seeing oil or an oily fuel smell, or just something that does not smell right to you, get that looked at, because your rings could be bad. You might have a bad ring seal and it's leaking just a little bit of oil into that plug, and when it goes to make its kaboom, it'll be smoking. That's why you see a lot of cars, classic cars sometimes, or even the new cars, really anything with a motor in it, if it's smoking blue, you got a ring problem, or it's burning oil. Okay, if you've got white smoke, that typically means you've got a, you know, if it's a carbureted vehicle, there's something not right with that carburetor, or even yet you could be burning geez, I'm sorry guys, I'm tired. There could be something up with your rings. Just always remember that blue smoke is burning oil, white smoke typically is not. You'll know the difference. If it's a pure white smoke, it could be a number of things. Like I said, for carbureted vehicles, it could be something with your carburetor, needle or float is stuck. But you don't want blue smoke. That is not what you want. So I just wanted to stop the video and tell you guys that. I never like to leave you guys just hanging out with useless information. You know, this is good stuff to learn, and it's good stuff to keep in mind for when you're doing your basic tune-up, even on your vehicle, new or old. So this is all helpful information. So because I finished with this bank, I'm going to move on to that one. And like I said, when we're done with that, we're just going to look into this computer and turn on and off the ignition, make sure it's not wigging out. And then I actually made up my mind, before we even start the motor after doing that, I want to put that, excuse me, burp. I want to put that fuel pedal to the test and seeing what's happening in here and seeing if it's getting stuck, because I feel very little resistance in that gas pedal. And it could be a number of things. The cable could be rusty, so it's not getting there all the way. It could be that the throttle body is just, something's not right. I couldn't tell you what, because quite frankly, I've never really worked on this specific of a motor. But typically your throttle body, it's gonna be right around in here. And I do believe it's this sucker right here. This is an electric throttle body. So if I'm having that delay, it could be I need a new one. which is not something I'm willing to buy right now. But you know, sometimes these electric throttle bodies go bad. You know, it's what happens. But basically it runs a cable through somewhere in this motor, and it tells the computer, okay, this much RPM, open the valve this much, and you know, the little butterfly valve in here, and kaboom, you got your electric throttle body. So all right, enough jawing. Let's see what's going on in this spot, and take it from there, I guess. Alrighty guys, so we're off to a bad start on this bank. Let's just say when you go to unplug, Jesus. When you go to remove your spark plug, there should be resistance. Okay, that tells you that it's tight. It should not be doing this. Let's see if I can't get you guys in here. All right, you can see my ratchet. Get you a good spot here. See how it's just coming out? There's no resistance. So this is why you do a spark plug change, because I am telling you guys right now, I am 100% positive that cylinder is not firing. Your spark plug should not be you should not be remove it by hand. You should only be able to remove it with a socket wrench with a little bit of resistance, but you'll feel that pop telling you that the spark plug was tight. Done by hand, it'll come out. This tells me two things. Number one, somebody did this before I did many moons ago, and they didn't do it properly. They didn't tighten it properly. Or two, vibration caused that spark plug to back out a little bit, just enough for what happened there. And then when it gets so loose, it just gets to the point where it's not firing on the cylinder, and it can't vibrate anymore because it's loose. So I'm interested to see how many others on this side are like that, but I could take that out with my hand right now. You know, you guys saw me do it over here. It was a come on, boom, and then she gave me some. This one, it didn't even try. I just stuck that in there, honest to Pete. So I know for sure that cylinder is not firing. That spark plug was not in there all the way. In fact, I'm really interested to see what that spark plug looks like. We will know if it was firing because the spark plug is going to tell us what happened. I'm interested. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. You see how new that looks? It's got a little bit of rust. What was that? I thought that was rust for a minute. I thought I saw rust. You can see it's just a little bit of, like, you can tell it was combusting at some point, and you can see it's a little rich right there, but it looks a little too nice for a plug. Let me take it out and show you guys what it should look like. All of your cylinders should pretty much be the same if it's a good running motor. Let's have a look here. You see that? That is interesting. You see how you can see the fuel right here? I can smell it. It smells like fuel. And you can see here there's nothing. In fact, this looks like the plug just got changed not too long ago. That was not firing at all. And I'm seeing rust here, which means we might have... I don't even know if this was even plugged in, because when I unplugged it, I didn't hear it click out. It just removed itself very lightly. So this was not... It may have been combusting at some point in its lifetime, like whoever, you know, maybe somebody did do this right and it just vibrated off. I do not know. Typically this is... When this stuff happens, I've never seen it done because of vibration. I mean, I've heard of it happen. I've seen people on, you know, internet have it happen, but in person, I've only ever seen this experience once, and it was because somebody did not tighten it down properly, and it just kind of just dangled there. It just laid there. It looked like it was in the cylinder when it was not. That is interesting to me. That'll cause a cylinder misfire. It might be sparking really good, but because it's not in that chamber the way it should be, it's so far out that it's pretty much just sparking nothing. It's just, that cylinder's just getting filled up with fluid, and it's just coming out of the exhaust, which would actually explain, if you guys go back to the video where we drove this thing home, we were remarking about how, I was at least remarking about how when I put the camera under to hear the thing start, there was a lot of fluid dripping out of it. Now that's usually normal for vehicles to have a little bit of that vapor, or whatever you guys want to call it, coming out of the exhaust, but there was just a little more than usual. So that was just chilling and grilling. Wow, see that difference once again. Now you can see these look similar, but you can see how this one's wet, dry, combusting, not combusting. That's interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Actually, I want to see what... See, yeah. Yep. Let's see. Sorry guys, I'm just checking something here. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. For a second I thought this had a little oil on it, but no. That's just really bad smelling fuel. I know the fuel's bad in this thing. I don't need your comments. Yeah, wow. That's pretty interesting, you know? That's what happens, man. Always make sure you're doing your changes right the first time, because that cylinder's not firing. I even remember specifically when we plugged in that computer, and we'll probably do it again on camera. Maybe, I don't know if I'll do it today. I don't even know if it's with us today. One of my brothers works at a local garage, so he usually takes that with him. But I'll probably have to make another Instagram video or a short on that, give you guys some answers. But last time I checked, there were 2 cylinders that were not firing correctly, either 1 or 2. We found number 1, but if I'm correct on 2, there should be another one here. If it doesn't look like that, we might have a coil problem. I'm pretty sure it was 2. I may have been wrong and it was just that 1, but it wasn't like, the misfire was good, but like it was a pretty damn good misfire, but it wasn't shaking the whole vehicle really bad. So let's keep on rolling, see what else we find. That was interesting. That spark plug was not in there all the way. So we know that that cylinder, even if it was combusting, it is not getting the right amount of spark it needed. I'm just saying, you know. So let's run through these 2 and see what we got. I'll turn the camera on if we find something else. Alrighty guys, we are back. I just did a bunch of stuff to that computer. Took it off, took it on, took it off. There was a couple fuses loose, but it's not wigging out anymore. Not yet, at least. So we're gonna give it a shot and crank it over. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I still think it's gonna run rough because the fuel, we pulled the rest of the plugs out, and I'm smelling a little bit of really bad fuel. In fact, not a little bit, a lot. And then there's a little oil. I'm sure you guys noticed that when I was showing you the plugs around these rings. I don't know. It's not burning oil. It doesn't smell like it, but I couldn't tell you. There's no blow by, so I mean the motor's healthy, but it might be burning just a scotch of oil. And if it's not the oil, it might have been the seafoam I put into it, because that does have oil-based stuff in its mixture, so I'm sure that's contributing in its own way. But we're gonna give it a shot here. I'm gonna pack all that up nice and neat. Just want to get it off the engine bay. Let's see what happens, guys. I mean, I really don't know what to expect. I'm still going to replace that coil wire and coil pack set. I'm just I just figured, you know what? Why not just see what happens when we do the minimum first? Press and hold. Now we're rocking. Well, let's see what happens, guys. Did we fix it? Probably not. But you know what? You never know. God, it smells really nice in here. The ignition's not wigging out. Hold on. Wasn't in park. Nope, that doesn't sound any better. I mean, I kind of wanted to run there for a bit. This feels really, really bad. Oh yeah. It's kind of misfiring, but you see what I mean? Huh. Computer's not working at all. It's actually running pretty good. Kind of. Huh. Yep, she's gonna die out. Well guys, it looks like I am gonna have to end the video right here. Unfortunately, I've been through this thing like 6 million times and it is just not working. I believe I know why. I believe the ECU, PC, however the hell they say it, the computer, I gotta unplug it for a couple seconds, plug the battery back in and play that kind of game, because I know that this does have a fail-safe mode, and once it's triggered it will do something similar to what's going on here. But if you guys have any idea, please comment below. Any help is greatly appreciated. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. At least you got to learn a little bit of something, you know, a little spark plug knowledge here and there. But with all that said and done, I hope you guys stay safe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.